I want to talk to you, Jason, real quick. Like a lot of people think of Netflix as cloud native, but I mean, following the journey of Netflix from the early days as a customer and then in technology, that they weren't really cloud native. They actually moved to the cloud. And that was real early days. And I mean, that adoption was hyper aggressive, right? Most companies that we were, I remember being a CISO and being like, well, no, the cloud, evil, scary. And Netflix really saw it as kind of, I would imagine, bought into the Bezos mantra of like, focus on what makes your beer taste better. I mean, I don't know if you could share a little bit about how was it to move a company from on-prem to the cloud in that era where everyone was scared of it? And then like what was really nuanced and different in that journey? I think that'd be super interesting for folks.
Yeah, happy to share. Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it. It was, probably folks in the US are maybe a little bit more familiar, but Netflix really started out as a DVD by mail company, right? So it wasn't streaming. This was sort of before really the internet could handle that kind of traffic. But it was, you go to the website, you pick a movie, and then Netflix would ship it to you. So the company was founded in 1997. So I wouldn't say it certainly wasn't a new company when I had started. It had been public for many years. It wasn't that big. I think we were about 600 employees. But when you think about the technology that's required to kind of, pick DVDs from a website and ship that, it's much different than doing online
Mhm.
streaming. So our CEO at the time, co-founder Reed Hastings, he's the one that kind of decided early on to make the move to the cloud. I think that was 2008, and it's one of these things where if you were going to start a business today, I don't think there'd be any question. You're just going to go to the cloud. You're not even going to think about colo or data center or hosting. So I mean, it seems obvious now, but at 2008, not at all, right? It was very, very unusual. But it all started. It was kind of a famous sort of origin story. There was a pretty big database outage in the data center, and I think it stopped shipping DVDs for like 2 or 3 days. So at that point, Reed was like, "Yeah, this is we don't need to be good at managing databases and data centers and networks, right? We need to be good about creating a streaming video subscription service. So like, let's do what we can to do that." So that was sort of the launch into AWS. And by the time I showed up in early 2011, that had already started. And we really did kind of almost like a piece by piece migration, like every little, every different page, like we'd move one page at a time up to the cloud. So we were doing, part data center, part cloud for quite a few years. I think we finished in 2016 when we finally moved all the kind of billing and payments infrastructure to the cloud. So it was definitely a multi-year journey, but yeah, so it's certainly not cloud native, not at all. I mean, it was a massive, massive migration. Everything changed. The technologies, obviously the vendors, the skill sets needed for engineers and security team.